also named Germain. Germain is also after Saint Germain. There's a Saint Germain that was raised up by the Moors. And raised up by the Moors. Elizabeth Clare Prophet and them write books on and talk about this Saint Germain. So my point here is, every now and then, we get these families, these humble families is in certain religions or what have you. Sooner or later, something has to incarnate down here at a certain time. It has to incarnate at a certain time, and so therefore, they had the twin incident. He fit the bill. He incarnates. Now, like I said, there's a book called The Messiahs of the Dead Sea Scroll, and the Hebrew aspect of Messiah is different than the Christian aspect of Messiah. Being the Hebrew, being the originators of that, and being the ones that's mostly close to the Camite mysteries, you see what I'm saying? Because they came out of Egypt as Akhenaten's children. And they even did a thing on the Dead Sea Scrolls recently. They got the Dead Sea Scrolls and they've been translating them. They really hadn't revealed that much mysteries because the Nag Hammadi Library, the Dead Sea Scrolls was found in 1948. The Nag Hammadi Library, the Gnostic text, was found in 1945. And it revealed much more advanced stuff in Pharaonic thought. The Pharaonic put most of their thought process in the writing of the Coptic religion, which was later day Egyptians. And so therefore we benefited from the Gnostic text in the Nag Hammadi Library because there's advanced thought in there. By the time the Essenes, it was more already going towards a religious establishment that had already been established, so it's not so far from the Torah. But they had a copper Dead Sea Scrolls that they translated recently, and they had these letters through it, and when they translated the letters, there was these Greek letters through the copper Dead Sea Scroll, and when they translated the letters that was Greek and translated them, it said Akhenaten, which is, here go again, the father of the Hebrew religion. You see what I'm saying? Because before that, Abraham is mythology. You go to India, Abraham is Brahma. Take Brahma, descramble it, Abraham. Abraham is married to Sarah. Brahma is married to Sarasvati. Do the math. You see what I'm saying? So you take sublime mythology and historicalize it. And when you historicalize it and stuff, you really cut it off from future generations from around the world looking at mythology and understanding this stuff is universal than some lineage from some goddamn Hebrew people that come in history when history is halfway over and they're supposed to be the chosen people. Right. But yet the Africans didn't do nothing before them. You see what I'm saying? But if you look at sublime mythology and understand that this is the mythology for the world, because the world was one landmass at one time and one people. Before tectonic movement of tectonic plates, a continental shift, or whatever you want to say, the destruction of Atlantis or what have you. You see what I'm saying? And also, but going back, she would know that this entire aspect, when she named this particular person at this dispensation of time in a cult that believes that Archangel Michael is the same as Jesus, and so when this energy comes down, this Archangel Michael, it would incarnate as Michael Jackson. And as a result, Archangel Michael is supposed to be the greatest warrior in heaven. Well, what he did, he's the great conqueror. What did Mike do? Michael conquered the entertainment world. You understand what I'm saying? And in the modern times, your entertainment world would be your heroes, your Herus. The word hero coming from the word Heru, or the word great face. The face of God, Pineal. You see what I'm saying? So he conquered the entertainment world as, let me show you this here, as King Michael. King Michael. Or better yet, King Michael. You see. With the royalty. You see. Now this particular picture that we just got today says it all. Yeah, he's being knighted and he's being crowned. And as a result, he comes in as Archangel Michael. Here you see Archangel Michael with the sword. He got a sword with a something like a crystal on the end of it. But usually they show him with the sword. I'll show you some pictures of Archangel Michael with the sword. But usually with the sword he comes looking like that. You see what I'm saying? So in so many words, you got to realize these particular people, they have these visions in their mind. They have these visions in their mind because these visions are encoded in their archetype from previous lives or previous realms on what these gods incarnate down here for. And over the course of years, these things work themselves out, and he slowly becomes the particular person that's destined to do what he's supposed to do. So it goes a little further than that. Michael Jackson at first was a man-child.
Yes,
he was a man-child. He ran Motown, he ran the Jackson 5. He was completely a man. He had everything about him. His essence when he was performing at his age was that of a grown man. And he reversed and became a child man. So when he was a child, he was a man. When he became an adult, and as he got older, he became more and more a child. You see what I'm saying? So it was a man-child that became a child man. The Benjamin Button story was his story, released on December 25th, Christmas Day. Same time, Eartha Kitt makes the transition. And then by June 25th, the man-child, that same manifestation comes.
6 months later.
You see what I'm saying? That was the curious case of Benjamin Button was Michael Jackson's story.
The winter solstice in the summer.
Anybody saw the Watchmen?
Yeah.
Anybody saw the movie The Watchmen? Captain Manhattan in there, who became a freak of society based on radiation and was blue. And Captain Manhattan ended up being blamed for the society's ills. So they blamed mass murders on him. They said he turned people into cancer and all that, and he ascended to Mars or what have you and stuff. And he was blamed. That was Michael Jackson's story too. So as a result, what happened with Michael Jackson, the Archangel Michael, the Archangel Michael is supposed to fight battles. His battle was reversed when he first compromised and paid the first white boy off in '93. See, had he fought that battle, the energy behind him would automatically win, and he automatically would have won just like he won in 2004. But he decided to compromise and pay the guy off, which the Archangel Michael battles truth. So if by him paying the white boy off, who later on recanted recently, he reversed his energies because he's there to battle truth as a truth warrior. By him paying him off was like a damn near an admission of guilt or an admission of being weak. Because he was afraid of white folks and they buffaloed his ass. And he paid the white boy off. As a result, he reversed the energy of the Archangel energy that conquers, the energy that he used to conquer the music industry. And as a result, that became his downfall. You see, what's that, sister?
I was just wondering, because it looks, a lot of his pictures, this picture here looks a lot like the Buddhist pictures, or like the, like...
Hanuman.
Like the Krishnas and Vishnu and stuff like
that. Yeah, it's all world mythology that they take after.
So was it possible that he was trying to study a system like Buddhism where he was trying to become more in tune with the surface of the world?
No, he was in, he later on became Islamic. At this particular time, he was Jehovah's Witness most of that. He most of that. But what is happening here, if you see certain trends of the whole Hindu thing like Shiva, Krishna, and all of that, that's because you're picking up the archetypes of his collective unconsciousness on the multiple systems of who he would be, being what part of the world he would be. So it'd be the Archangel Michael, it would be a form of Horus in Egypt, it would be Krishna in India, Vishnu in India. You see what I'm saying? And so you're picking up those archetypes that's in him. It's not necessarily that he was trying to actually study that. You see what I'm saying? Because you didn't have to make a conscious effort because his essence was that. So it would come through that way. You see, it would come through that way. The last time he was converting to Islam. That was the whole reason why he was able to go over to Dubai or wherever that was we was living and stuff. And they even got him dressed up all and wrapped all up. You see what I'm saying and all, like a Muslim. Well, this is interesting here because this is interesting and this could. So Horus or the Christ energy in India is Vishnu. the sleeping Vishnu. And as a result, Thriller that put him on top was an energy. Is this Thriller was put him on top, which is energy. Let me put this down a little bit. Was the energy is the sleep? You see what I'm saying? Is the same energy as the sleeping Vishnu.
Bob, you got to move over a little bit. Move over a little bit. You move over there.
As the sleeping Vishnu. And let me go down a little more. Yeah. As the sleeping Vishnu. So all of this stuff here shows in the same position. So he's taking on these archetypes haphazardly. They are in him, and therefore when he makes a decision, and a part of what he would call his creativity is actually invoking ancient symbology and mythology from around the world of the same Messianic Michael energy or Horus energy, Harmachis, Horus on the horizon.
Could you do me one favor? Could you slide the picture over a little bit, because the picture over the other way.
This way.
Towards you. Towards you. No, just slide it towards you past the monitor edge.
This way?
No, to the other way.
That towards me. I'm doing it towards you. You mean this way?
Yeah,
Away from me.
Push it all the way over, because the monitor head is covering the face.
Okay, yeah. I see.
Still doing. Just push it out. Then push a little bit more.
Yes, so you can see how she gonna be in
Now we see the face.
Akron if you push it.
There you go. You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I can see it on mine.
I couldn't see it on
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Somebody getting it right. You was getting it. Okay, then y'all have to splice that shit. Use some creativity.
Let me
Okay.
leave him alone.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. Yeah. So yeah, but this is the Vishnu. So these images are coming up. These particular images are coming up. Now, so she knew what this was. See, if certain energies are going to come to a people and going to hit a certain planet in the modern world, certainly it could be some warrior with some warrior on horseback, or some warrior with a great sword, or what have you. A lot of times these things come as humans, and in the vocation of what they do. The book The Messiahs of the Dead Sea Scrolls, which I was saying by John White, tells you that the original meaning of the Messiah wasn't just coming back coming back in the sky and all this kind of stuff, or what have you. But it was talking about when the Hebrew aspect. This was prior to Jesus. No, the Hebrew aspect was talking about the Messiahs were your entertainers. In this particular case, it would be your scribes in the ancient world. It would be your teachers. You see what I'm saying? It would be your musicians. It would be your magicians. And the different talents in the community were also messianic figures. You see what were messianic figures. So James Brown would be a messianic figure. We'll change music. Sly Stone, who actually, if we go back with him and Larry Graham, they actually, both James Brown and Sly Stone and Larry Graham, it basically gave you the template that would later going to become funk. That later on, even if you get the first 4 or 5 the Earth, Wind and Fire albums, from Last Days in Time all the way up to That's the Way of the World, and listen to them close, you find elements of Sly and the Family Stone within those albums. You see what I'm saying? So these are templates. George Clinton automatically said that, you know, Larry Graham was the one who brought the pluck. He was the one that mastered the pluck. Ironically, the precursors to Michael Jackson, before there was a Michael Jackson, the precursor to that was the Brothers Johnson. They were the ones that hooked up with Quincy Jones and developed his sound that would later on become Michael Jackson's sound. They just needed one key, and in 1988, Rod Templeton from Heatwave came and hooked up with the Brothers Johnson, Quincy Jones, and the template for the Stew of Off the Wall, which the 30th anniversary is right around this time right here when it was released around August of 1979. The template for that particular Quincy Jones and Rod Templeton is the stuff that made Michael Jackson, but they first tried it out on the first 4 albums of Brothers Johnson. Look out for number 1, the Strawberry Letter, number 2 album, Blam, and then the one Stomp. But Rod Templeton came on. People don't understand the music that you're getting of Michael Jackson's actual music, because Michael Jackson couldn't read music. The actual element that took it to the point where it went to a certain level was Rod Templeton from England. That's when it turned into the magical part when Rod Templeton, that was over Heatwave from England, was writer, joined the group, joined up with Quincy Jones, and they took it to the next level. Took it to the next level. But my point here is a Messianic figure would be a Maurice White, would be a James Brown, would be a Sun Ra that later on would influence at least the cosmic concepts of George Clinton. It's actually Sun Ra in his belief system and stuff like that. These are Messianic people. Duke Ellington. These are Messianic people. Louis Armstrong. If you get his Hot Fives and him and the album that he did with what's the piano player, Louis Armstrong and Earl of Father Hines. And if you listen to the songs of Louis Armstrong and Earl of Father Hines, you can literally see the soul of black people. This shit was being invented for the first time. And see, now you might listen to this stuff and go, I've heard that before. But put yourself back in the 1920s. Or the 1930s, and this stuff is being invented for the first time. And you got to ask yourself, how the hell that motherfucker did that? How the hell did you invent something like that? You see, if you do it after the fact, you see what I'm saying? You go, well, you go, well, like you take More Bounds to the Ernst, which was the ultimate funk hyped up in 1980. Both Bootsy and Roger Troutman, and you go, if this is being done for the first time, how did you invent that? You see what I'm saying? How did you invent that? How was house invented? You see what I'm saying? That now is all over the world. House is played all over the world, but I'm talking about the originators of house. How was that invented? You see what I'm saying? You're dealing with stuff for the first time, and it's coming from an angelic sphere. So the whole Michael Jackson thing is right in order what this whole angelic thing is about. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Jackson had to leave the planet based on the Messianic energy at the age 50. We're here today talking about the same thing because we had to do it today as one of the major lectures on this subject before his birthday on the 29th. Why? Because he would be 51. It's out of the sequence. 50 is also the number of the star Sirius. The 50 gates of understanding is the number of the Kabbalah. The 50 gates of Abina. It is the 50 stars. There's 50 dots in the circle of Erzuli. Erzuli, which is also another form of Mayan. 50 dots in the circle of Erzuli. Hercules, which is Hercules, so Hercules is nothing but the Phoenician form of Horus. Hercules goes to a party and they give him these women, 50 women, he screw all of them and have 50 children. It is imperative that 1959, the same year that Billie Holiday makes the transition, Hawaii becomes the 50th state, which is the 50 gates of understanding of Sirius. It is imperative. So the 50th states. There's 50 children of there's 50 oarsmen in the Argonauts. Jason, which is the word Jason and Jesus is the same. Jason is the mythological Jesus, the unhistoricalized Jesus. Jason takes the heroes, 50 Argonauts, and sails to the end of the world to get the golden fleece. The end of the world, on the other side, has to be America. It is the last porthole to the east to get the golden fleece, which is attainment of Christ's attainment. So Michael Jackson, who didn't live here anymore, had to come back to the United States so he could die in the 50 states at age 50. As the Archangel Michael, he had to come back and die at the City of Angels. And he had to go when he had to go because he couldn't have gone on his birthday. He couldn't have gone today. He had to go when he had to go at the precise time because he was getting ready to go back to England. And also he probably wouldn't have survived the tour. But he had to die in America because he wasn't supposed to go past 50. Now, this particular incident that came up, when it came about, certain things will come up. And when it came about on another person on this not supposed to go past 50. to go past 50. And it came about with this particular brother right here. This is Noel Pointer. Anybody remember Noel Pointer?
Yeah.
Violinist. He died at age 40 in 1994. So I was concerned about this. Was he taken out? Because he was a Christian at first. Did an album called Calling, where he's at a phone booth and the phone is coming down from God. It's called Calling. He was calling God, calling Jesus. He later on became involved with the African burial ground when they dug up those burial ground down there by Wall Street and all. And later on they ended up putting a memorial there. He was involved, and he would be the person that would be the benediction at night when they was trying to get all this shit together. This was in 1993 and all. He was the one that would come in and fiddle. But by this time he was conscious, coming with the kufi, the kente cloth, or what have you. But he died in 1994, and I was wondering, well, did it have anything to do with him being involved with this African burial ground? And he came through and specifically said from the seers, no, I wasn't supposed to go past 40. I was a childlike figure. See, this guy was a child prodigy. He was 16 when he was the first at the Philharmonic Orchestra. He was a child prodigy. So the god Pan, Michael Jackson, Peter Pan, the god Pan has a fiddle. But the Peter Pan, there's several parts of Pan. There's a grown Pan, which is Dionysus, Osiris, Baron Samedi, Shiva, that's the grown Pan, but there's a baby Pan that does the fiddle, that's Cupid, Eros, the baby Horus, later on the baby Jesus. You see what I'm saying? But this Eros type of energy in your mythology, the baby Pan is never supposed to grow into the grown Pan. So what happened was, at age 40, which is the year you graduate the mystery school in Egypt, Noel Pointer ascends. So I got this 2-3 years ago. So when this thing happened with Michael Jackson, I said, oh, 50 gates, 50 understanding. You wasn't supposed to go past 50. You see, go past 50. And as a result, Michael Jackson ascends at age 50. You see what I'm saying? That's the only time he was supposed to be here. And certain things have to happen at a certain time. Now we know that the goddess says shit, and it says this in the Egyptian thing. They write down your life. And whatever number's on that life, you're going to go. Whether somebody going to come up and put a gun in your face and blow your brains out, point blank range. Whether it's cancer. You see what I'm saying? Or whether you just fall out dead. Whether you call it homicide or natural death, it doesn't matter. You see, one way you're going to go. So we can argue whether this is homicide. We can argue whether it was natural death. We can argue all these things. Or ascension. He was supposed to go when he was supposed to go. If either he went the way he went where he didn't wake up, or he went the way where somebody would come to the door and shoot his brains out. But either way he was supposed to go. Now how he's supposed to go, the earth realm works with that, and what happens, the spirit world works with that based on where you are at the particular time and who you are and what your situations are. It could be homicide, it could be cancer, it could be whatever it is. You see what I'm saying? Either way, what this was is supposed to go at that particular time, because at this particular time it was a certain reason. Now, the archangel started showing up in March. Archangel Gabriel, Raphael, Uriel, and Michael was trying to get. Michael was not really coming through, but the reason why Michael was coming through, because part of that energy of Archangel Michael that was involved with had to ascend, and then Archangel Michael comes through. Now, not only is Archangel Michael connected with Michael Jackson, but briefly with Mike Tyson, with Michael Jordan. You see what I'm saying? You see these Messianic types of feats. That's all Michael's energy. Now I'm getting this thing, and I'm getting it strong, and I got it in a lot of other people, so I might as well say it. I think that Ali is on his way out. Because before there was a Michael Jackson, the biggest figure on the planet before Michael Jackson was Muhammad Ali. Now I'm getting it very heavy that was a Michael energy also. So I'm just saying, I ain't putting nothing on nobody. When he's supposed to go, he's supposed to go. But I'm telling you, it's something very heavy around Muhammad Ali. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, because it came, and not only did it come to me, it came to several other people. And everybody I tell them, they go, you know what? I kind of got that too. You see what I'm saying? So so it's just very interesting. Y'all all right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on. Let me get my notes, and we need to see if there's anything right quick that we can deal with on this. Then again, like I said, now we're talking about Archangel Michael in related to Michael Jackson. I suggest you get you some Noah Porter if you can. I'm gonna get my stuff to get a little bit of notes. Huh? We got it in the. I got it from. It's the People's Tribute to Michael Jackson. People Magazine Tribute to Michael Jackson. A thick book. It's on the stands now. As well, I got that. Like I said, we got that. He must have. I bought about $30 worth of these magazines. The only one I didn't have was this one, and he said, "Come over there and look at it." I'm like, "Damn, all the same pictures, the same." And I walked over to the book, the stand, and that opened up. I said, "Oh shit, we got to go to Kinko's right now." Yeah, what's that?
Yeah, I wanted to know about Brick. When they came out, one of them came from like Waycross, Georgia, and they came out with Dad, Jermaine Jackson.
Yeah.
Dedicated to David, Brick Day in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah.
And then it just disappeared. And then like Donald, the keyboard player that played the original Daz, Disco Daz.
Right.
He came out, and when he saw the crowd, he just got starstruck. He got petrified. He couldn't play a note. And then they changed over, and then I never heard nothing else from him. That was like a song that took you way up.
Yeah, well, they did that's the Daz album. Then they did that second album, We Don't Want to Sit Down, Want to Get Down. That album was unbelievable. And as a matter of fact, the building that they took the pictures in front was there painted up until the 90s as far as downtown Atlanta. Very powerful group. But a lot of those groups could not make the transition into the 80s with computer music. You see what I'm saying? With computer music. They couldn't make the transition. Hell, even Stevie Wonder couldn't really make the transition. He did the One Last Stand, but where he fucked up was Stevie Wonder went on a hiatus from 1980 after Holiday in July. He didn't come out to his in full circle till 1985. He put out those, and by that time the music had progressed beyond him. So you gotta hit it when you can. But he sacrificed 2 or 3 years. Most of those years where because he came out with Holiday in July. He didn't come out till he did the Musicology in '82, which is the greatest hits album. Mm-hmm. Then he did the soundtrack, The Woman in Red, but he didn't really come out with another album till 1985. But he had sacrificed those years of his life being an advocate and being a person pushing the Martin Luther King holiday. He was one of the main people behind it. As a matter of fact, when they did the Happy Birthday, that's what actually activated the Martin Luther King holiday. So he sacrificed those years of his career for Martin Luther King. You see what I'm saying? For Martin Luther King, which, that's a heroic act within itself. Because he came out in full circle in 1985, and the same year Reagan signed the Martin Luther King holiday. So, I think he should have recorded within that time to keep the flow a certain way. And then the incident happened when he came out in 1977 with the one with skeletons in the closet or what have you. He made the mistake of staying with Motown, which had dwindled down to an inferior company. And release date, the damn albums were still in the damn warehouse. And it's something about the way it is, if you don't get it on your release date, you fucked. You see what I'm saying? The albums were somehow in the warehouse, and all. But by that, and in the very next year, Barry Gordy had to sell Motown to MCA for, I think, $20 million or something at the time. But he was smart. He just sold. He didn't sell none of his master copies. He just sold the rights to them to use the name. So yeah, which was pretty smart. So that was at least worth $20 million because it was a defunct company anyway. What's that?
Let me ask you a quick question. The movie Jason, with all the chopping, is that an aspect of rock, Rudy?
Jason is Horace.
Yeah, I'm saying, but is that the cut-up part, the Jason, because that's been on my mind.
Yeah, all of that. Wow. That whole mythology is the Christ mythology. Jason and the Organizer, one from '63 and the one from
I'm
2000.
talking about the horror movie. They got the Chopper, the slasher movie.
Oh, you talking about that thing? You talking about
Yeah,
Jason? Well,
right.
it's ironic you talking about the Friday the 13th Jason.
Yeah.
Well, it's just interesting here because why would they name him Jason?
Right.
And then you have to ask yourself, and you have to go back through the myths and find out, certain things and how does it line up?
Right.
You see, it's just like Brad Pitt played Meet Joe Black,
Oh yeah.
and he was coming as an angel of death, but that was actually Osiris visiting the corporation and taking the guy on. Meet Joe Black, he played Osiris in that. You see what I'm saying? So all of this stuff, you see, even like the Tropical Thunder, when Robert Downey Jr. plays the black man, his name is Osiris.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? His name is Osiris. So this is very interesting. I just want to see in my notes. Let me just get a few things here in these notes and see. I don't want to miss nothing because it's interesting here because because you bring up the whole Jason thing. It's interesting because, like I said, Hawaii becomes the 50th state in 1959, 50 years ago. Michael dies 50 years later at age 50. You see what I'm saying? At age 50. You see, all of this stuff lines up. All this stuff lines up. 25 is also a number of Horus. It's also a number of Mars. 5 is a number of Mars, but 25 is a number of Mars. And then all these people on the 25th are Leah, James Brown, Eartha Kitt, a Left Eye. You see what I'm saying? All of these things, everything. Also, 25 also mentions is also a form of transmutation. And he's born on the birthday of Horus, a birthday of Heru Hathor, the great divine cow. August 25th is the birthday, and Hathor represents all the goddesses in the world. So that day on the 29th represents every goddess in the world. You see what I'm saying? And he's born on that particular day. They gave birth to, and every goddess is giving birth to a Christ-like child. You see what I'm saying? You see, so the whole Peter Pan thing is that Peter Pan was never supposed to grow up. That was the problem in the movie Hook. Robin Williams, who played Peter Pan, grew up. You see what I'm saying? And for Neverland, which is the hereafter, a Neverland is also called the neither world. It is the worlds to come, as they say in Kabbalah. Neverland, in order for that land to be healed, Peter Pan must return to it, to an age of innocence. You see what I'm saying? To an age of innocence. So, if Michael Jackson was the person that sets over the children of Israel, then what he was doing with the children, I mean, it was crazy for a 40-year-old man, in my mind. You see what I'm saying? But if we're talking about someone that don't think on the same level, he never grew up, he thinks like, and because he regressed back into a childhood, then that means he could be around somebody that's not necessarily sexual. You see? Because we're thinking as us in our man body. You see what I'm saying? Like some little boys, and it's interesting because right at the time Michael died, some children moved in up the street. We lived in an older community. There ain't been no children in the community. I've been there 10 years. A lot of the community was older people and the children had grown up. And so now, and the little children moved about 3 houses up from us, and this little boy came up and said, yeah, I'm going to get some ice cream with the ice cream truck. And so I hand him $1. So next time he saw me, I'm going to get some damn candy at the ice cream truck. I said, this is like, don't feed no cat or whatever. He came up to get that $1. So my queen, and so sometimes you go, well, that you just being paranoid. That's what. No, you always gotta listen. That's all. The man always gotta listen to his woman.
Talk to her about it.
She knows things that our logic don't deal with. That's how we get fucked up. We think of her being. She said, "Don't be giving that motherfucker no money. If some shit go down, they gonna say that motherfucker up the street was giving them money." Now, every time you see him, and now he got the other little brother, and now you done gave the sister. So when they come down, you gonna be the old dirty old man up there, Justin the molester. And you live in a house that got 2 fucking gargoyles on the steps. See what I'm saying? On your steps. That's a castle. You're gonna be just like Michael. Don't give him no more money. So I might say, oh, nah, no, because when some shit go down, see what I'm saying? It'd be some mess, and that's how he got caught up in some stuff. His heart was a certain way. You see what I'm saying? And then what happened was these people saw extortion, and they try to get something off of what you call it. So he was vulnerable on that level. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's just interesting here. The magical child, as a child led them, all this stuff about the child. So what it says is about the little child Cupid, Eros, which is also the Eros or the Cupid child is always whatever hero you got or the Christ figure you got Horus, you got a baby Horus. You got Krishna, you got a baby Krishna, used to steal butter from the town, the butter thief. You got a baby Shiva, a baby Dionysus, which is Pan. You see what I'm saying? Then the baby Jesus is the last archetype of that same thing. But all these figures have these baby forms and stuff like that. You got some that you never see the baby forms, but you do see some where you see them as babies. One of the keys is the reason. So one of those things. Now we talk of Phoenician. When you explain this stuff, you say Greek. You got to understand that the Greeks inherited their stuff from the Phoenicians. The phones were the typhoons, pre-dynastic Egyptians, moved out of Egypt, came into Carthage, which is now Libya, on up into Mesopotamia, which is Samaria, Babylon, all the way pre-dynastic Egyptians, which was ancient Cushites, went all the way as far as India, the Kushite Empire. So now the Phoenicians is nothing but a pre-dynastic Egyptian, so your Greek mythology is Phoenician mythology. So Cupid or Eros is nothing but another form of Horus. But Cupid is always seen and he never grows up. They said, why does he never grow up? They said, because as long as the world is grown, that's ego and that's corrupt. He can never grow because there's always got to be that childlike element in the world so that the world don't go totally astray. You see what I'm saying? It's got to be a balance. If you got the grown, end result, corrupt, ego thing, you also got to have a childlike energy to balance it out. So Eros is a figure of a baby Horus that never grows up. Because if it grows up, the world loses its link between the land of the physical world, logical, rational, left brain, from the land of the mystical world, which is the childlike figures, mystical creatures, dragons. You see what I'm saying? Mermaids, salamanders. And that's what he did. He kept us with monsters, dragons, mermaids, salamanders, mystical people, the fairies. That's the realm of the ancestors. So you always, they say, and a child led them. Your innocence is only you can see the face of God, whereas you become a child and you become innocent. You see, as you become innocent. And that's what my life has become more than anything the last 10 years is innocent. I'm liable to do any kind of unorthodox shit in my fucking house, me and my woman. You see what I'm saying? All kind of shit.
Oh, Lord.
You see, any kind of thing goes. You see what I'm saying? There ain't nothing, I mean, you know, we get rid of adulthood.
Right.
You see, we get rid of, it ain't but the two of us. You see what I'm saying? We get rid of adulthood. And as a result, that innocence comes and stuff like that and all. And so, and one of the things about the innocent is learning not to judge. You see what I'm saying? So I stopped judging gay people. Why? I don't give, because like I said, it's personal. Be honest with you, I don't know what none of them niggas do behind the closet, behind the curtain. So you don't judge because that person might have a key to your salvation. You see what I'm saying? And you turn your thing to the people or the pillars of society, and as you see all on the news every day, the pillars of society is falling, getting caught with all kind of, all kind of shit happening. Oh, I like astronauts. This astronaut woman drove how many goddamn states in some diapers? She didn't even take time to shit to go try to kill another motherfucker over other people. She put on some diapers so she wouldn't shit. These are the same people that they send up in space. You trust them enough to send them up in space, rolling through 50 damn states to go kill somebody or something or some old nigga. You see? So you looking at the pillars of society, you see what I'm saying? And you judge the other ones. People that's unorthodox. You see, people that's unorthodox, and that's what Michael Jackson was saying the whole time. You see, hell, I even fell victim to that because Michael Jackson was the strangest nigga on the planet. You see what I'm saying? But then again, like I said, what would we do had we had $1 billion? Y'all might have some electric balls and some electric legs, electric ass wipers. What would you do? Have you got them? See, we can't fathom that. Your crazy might come out too. You had enough money to reach for the damn stars. Well, I'm not, as sane as we are, just in regular life. Can you imagine what these Negroes would do? See what I'm saying? You might have a fucking feeding tube so you won't get out of bed. I'm just gonna intervene and feed myself so I don't have to do shit. See what I'm saying? You might not know what you would do.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? If you had $1 billion, he is the what he did was he took on the pathology of the black race.
Right.
He did shit that we would have in our mind that we couldn't do because we didn't have enough money, or you end up in jail because we wasn't rich enough. You see what I'm saying? Or end up in the crazy house. He was rich enough to pull it off. You see what I'm saying? Rich enough to pull it off. You see, and believe me, he did the most beautiful thing a person can do down here is die and get out of here. Because we will never see Michael Jackson as a 70-year-old man.
That's right.
Hell, he was scary enough at fucking 50. What do you think that nigga look like at 70? You see what I'm saying? He did a class act. This nigga was obsolete for years. And that nigga died, and all of a sudden, he swept the whole world back in. You see that prison out there doing Thriller in the Philippines?
Yeah.
This shit is a phenomenon. You see what I'm saying? So Cupid, he has to stay a child because that's the only innocent we got left. And when that innocent goes, it's time to go. And I'm gonna show you some shit in a few minutes. In a few minutes. I just wanted to I just want to show you some things here. I'm gonna show you some things here. Just a few little tidbits on Michael before we go into the science of what's really going on.
Bobby, can I say something?
Yes.
My brother, he danced with Lola Falana for 7 years in Vegas, and he knew Michael Peters that did the choreography of Thriller. And Michael Peters told him that Michael Jackson was out dancing professional dancers, and he never had a dance lesson.
Yeah, I know you can do that because I used to do that when I was in the dance. Somebody taught me how to dance. That spirit hit your ass. That ain't nothing in the black community. Because professional dancers and choreography is white shit.
Right.
That's still taking our shit and breaking it down numerically so that they can learn how to do it. I told you about, I used to be a dancer. I used to go around the state of South Carolina whipping niggas' ass. But I was smart with it. I was doing that acrobat, double flips, splits, doing all kind of shit on my hands and stuff. But I hooked up with a natural African nigga named Bun. He wasn't from Africa, but his genes wasn't far away from us. You got them black families. They got him in you know them black families where ain't nothing light in the fucking family. The Midnights, the McBrides. But a nigga named Bun Wilder. The Wilder family was a black family, and Bun could break his spine in. And Bun could stand there and break his spine in when he dancing. break his whole spine would break in. And I've seen this nigga stand, put one foot stand here, and I've seen him dance on one. I seen the dance movement. The bones in his damn leg would be dancing with a girl, and he'd be whipping motherfuckers' ass with one leg. I said, I'm gonna hook up with this motherfucker here. And we hooked up and we went, and so I do that acrobatic and stuff. And then when we get a nigga that can match that, we call out Bun. And ain't nobody can break their back end. Nobody can hit a nigga ass on one leg. And we would whip niggas' ass. And I'm from a town. This town I'm from, it doesn't exist no more. You go there, the town is gone. Wow. It's a mystical town. In the state of South Carolina, they don't have no history of no riots. They might have had some uprising, maybe, I don't know when. But remember when they burnt up the cities in 1968? Mm-hmm. They had one riot in 1969, and that was from the town I was from. And my mama said, you know, this is a crazy ass town. They ain't got no towns on the 1969, 40 years ago. She said they don't have no towns on the books of South Carolina, and they sure didn't have none that upright rose with this Martin Luther King thing. But 69 is a year late. Them niggas rioted in a population of 6,000 because they threw a nigga out of hamburger stand. The nigga went back and got a nigga named Johnny Lewis, and this was his claim to fame. And they tore up downtown, little Mayberry, tore that mother up. and that's when I knew they caught Johnny Lewis and put him in jail. And Johnny Lewis ain't had nothing but a one match. And he told them crackers, one match and I'll burn this town down. And he put so much fear in them crackers' ass with one match, they let that nigga out. And they rioted for the rest of that, for them 3-4 days until the National Guard came. And them niggas went home. But they got the job done in 1969. And the whole town is a bunch of crazy motherfuckers like that. But mystical people do all kind of mystical shit. And so I'm a product of that shit. I was born in Los Angeles, the city of angels, but I was raised in Mullins, South Carolina. Now, for those people that have ever been to the East Coast, you'll know this place if you ever go to the East Coast and go up I-95 from New York on in. In I-95 starting in Philadelphia, you'll see these big signs say south of the border with these big Mexican signs that say south of the border. And you travel 95 till you get to south of the border, which is 10 miles from where I'm from, Mullins, 15 miles from where I'm from. 20 miles from where I'm from. And all the niggas in Mullins work at this place. And it's called south of the border. When you get there, it ain't nothing. South of the border, they advertise for years. And when you get there, ain't shit. But some little stands and a little Ferris wheel. You know what I'm saying? But the nigga was rich enough to buy I-95. Schaefer. He buying, I think the Schaefer beer in upstate in Detroit is some of his family. He was rich enough to buy I-95 and run it through his place. And I'm 20 miles from that place and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say when you was talking about the dance shit, that ain't nothing. They say half the NBA players never played in the NBA the best. And if you ask any NBA player who is the best, they will give you some nigga that never came into the NBA. Why? Because those people could not go into the regiment of being tamed. You see what I'm saying? All of them are that way. You see what I'm saying? Could never go into what you call it. I went to a college, Benedict College, and only 2 niggas couldn't sing. Me and another nigga named Glenn, and we was best friends. Everybody in the college could sing. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just saying we got some mystical people. So that's nothing, on that particular level. So you got Jason, Michael Jason. Now, if you look at that book, the Dictionary of All People's Myths, her name is Barbara. What's that woman's name? It'll come to me in a minute. It's called the Dictionary of Women's Myths. No, the Encyclopedia of Women's Myths and Secrets by Barbara. What's that last name? Barbara G. Walker or something. And in there, she'll tell you that Jason and Jesus are the same. Before it was Jesus, it was Jason. You see, Jah, son. Jackson, Jah, son. You get etymology and looking Jeremiah's book of the beginning, volume 2, and look at those words, Jah, son, the black jack, The word Jack is a Messiah word called the Black Jack. The Black Jack is John's son. It's all up in that stuff. You see, in the book of the beginning, volume 2. The volume 2. So all of that stuff is in there. So so Michael Jason, Michael Johnson is all the same. Jason is. So we into this particular cycle. July, August, September, October, November, Jason. We in this particular cycle. You see what I'm saying? In this particular cycle and stuff. So all of this particular information is coming down. Okay, now. I want to get some other stuff. I don't want to leave out nothing. Rudolf Steiner, who was a great occultist, said that the Archangel Michael started somewhere in the 1800s, right after slavery, and that cycle would last because we got these Michaels that came up with great figures: Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson. You see, these are Michael energies, and the great warrior Muhammad Ali. You see what I'm saying? All of these particular ones, you see what I'm saying, represent, and they said that cycle will give over. The Michael Jackson's, the Archangel Michael cycle will give over to another cycle of a god called Oriphiel. It was interesting because this Oriphiel came to us in the summer, in March, and told us he was coming in the summer. Now I got to take our African origins of Archangel when I talk about Oriphiel, so I didn't make this shit up. I talk about it on Mother's Day. African origins of archangels, and I talk about Oriphiel in that particular tape, and said he was supposed to come this summer. And Oriphiel, as of Rudolf Steiner, said that this entity came in March and said he was Oriphiel. We didn't know who he was. The sister named Ella down in Atlanta said, she called, she said, I just got this transmission of Oriphiel. We looked it up, we finally found it in these angelic books, but then we got the transmission. He came through and said he was coming to the planet. He's a Saturn energy. And he was coming to the planet on during this summer. And this, ironically, when we started reading this thing on Oriphiel and reading this aspect that happened in this aspect that happened about Oriphiel and Michael Jackson, Rudolf Steiner says in the prophecy that the Archangel Michael will give over to an entity called Oriphiel, and that will be the new cycle, a Saturn energy. A Saturn energy. Now, Oriphiel, but these new entities come in, they have to be names, new names. Oriphiel was an angel that had been around since the ancient world, since Samaria, what have you, but he was forgotten. He's a Saturn energy, and he was coming back to the planet to kick ass. And so based on this Oriphiel, the guy, there's one little piece on the internet where they deal with Oriphiel, and he says we're gonna go through some major rough times because Oriphiel is a Saturn energy. And anybody knowing about Saturn? Saturn is the part of the great chastisement. It whips you into shape. It cuts off. It trims the fat. It cuts off the nonsense. You see what I'm saying? So Oriphiel is this particular Saturn energy. So anyway, what happened here is, so we understood this, and so on July the 31st, this entity came through another Saturn energy called Baphomet, which is a form of the Baphomet, but it has the L on the end, which means it's an angel. It's an earth angel, and so what we found out that because it has a new composite named Baphomet, we found out that was the new name of this Oriphiel that replaced Michael. You see, that replaced Michael, and all. So this is interesting here. So Michael dies in June. June in the Egyptian zodiac is Kepra. It's the crab. It's the crab in European zodiac. The crab is also the lobster. It's connected with that. You know, you people that eat fish. You ever eat some lobster? Anybody never had no lobster before? I know y'all niggas have had some lobster. You never had lobster?
Oh, man.
You ever had shrimp? You like shrimp? You eat lobster, you won't never want to fuck with no shrimp no more. I know, now some people get the shellfish, but that is the king of whatever. As a matter of fact, them niggas at the street selling lobster. Last time I was in this building, after we left, I went up there and got me a goddamn lobster. They still open, I'm gonna get me a lobster. Anyway. Huh? Oh yeah, the crawfish, no, the lobster is king.
Right.
Yeah, shoot. You know, anyway, the crab is the European. In Egyptian, it's the scarab and the beetle, Kepra. And Michael Jackson died doing Kepra. Transformation. That's called transformation. You see what I'm saying? That's called transformation. So he died during that day, which is also Kepra, which you know as cancer. As cancer. Now Michael Jackson also represented the baby Harpocrates. Let me see if I can find a picture of Harpocrates. Harpocrates. That's why he had to die. Now I'm gonna show you what does that mean. Why does it have to be a baby? Well, let me see if I can find this right quick. Why does it have to be a baby? There's the baby Jesus. There's the baby Jesus. Let's see if I got it in here. It might be on another page and stuff. But Harpocrates is the baby Horus. You've seen me show pictures of Harpocrates for many years. It's the baby Heru, but I don't have a picture, but I'll find it later on. So Harpocrates also represents the pineal gland. It also represents the pineal gland. Is what Harpocrates also represents. Now, let me get one thing here on what we're dealing with here before I go to the key thing. Now I want to show you this. This is Michael Jackson. At this particular time, even what's the name said that Michael didn't have no hair. Those was wigs he wore because the antibiotics in his body, his hair fell out and stuff. And those were the wigs he wore. Those were the wigs he wore. This is interesting here because this is the one where it says Michael Jackson, this is it. Michael Jackson, this is it. And this is Harpocrates, which is the baby Jesus, the baby Horus. The baby Horus. You see. Yeah, you're right, no hair. Ain't that something? So not only did he go back to childhood, but when babies are usually born, they have no hair. Can't say that about black babies. Some black babies. Most black babies have full of hair and shit. And stuff like that, you see. But anyway, he ended up, but this particular Egyptian Harpocrates, he did take on that role, because they said he didn't have no hair. He didn't have any hair at this particular time he was wearing these wigs. This is very key, because I want to show you something here. It's very key. Now y'all, let's look at this. Michael Jackson, I want to show you this first. Let me see if I can get a picture of this. Because by the time he died, he looked like this deity. Hemmitt, which is the Monkey King. He looked like this deity, which is the Monkey King. Now remember now, other pictures of Hemmitt as the Monkey King. Okay. Now remember this. I told you that Barack Obama has a Hemmitt tattooed on him. It's not by mistake that the brother Clemson Brown made the analogy. He said, isn't this whole Michael Jackson thing, isn't it interesting that this Michael Jackson thing got the same energy of the inauguration 6 months before? When the last time you seen black people at their height stirred up about some shit? Was the inauguration. See what I'm saying? 6 months ago. Now listen to me. Now, there's a comparison because Barack Obama has a Hanuman tattooed on him, as well as a bracelet. Because Barack Obama was raised part in Indonesia, and they worship the monkey king that comes out of India, but all of Asia worship the monkey king, which is the god Hanuman. You see what I'm saying? So, you had your inauguration, which is the only thing you should ever look at Barack Obama for. Is what he gave to you already happened. You get nothing else from this Negro. And he said the black thing lasted 24 hours. And you don't, and you get nothing else from Barack Obama. His mission is to be president. You see what I'm saying? Not even just for white people, but just so that the country don't fall based on what Bush did. He ain't got time to worry about your ass. But nevertheless, he is also to put these banks back on top as rule. That's that Illuminati mission. The banks game. And they done looked at the money, and all the money from the damn bailout done went to England, Ireland, and all of the Bank of England, and where the Bank of England them told him to send that goddamn money. Him and Bush. Same system. They bailed out the banks. You see what I'm saying? Because they said that what it was is America was in debt to so many countries. Okay, so England, they was in debt to England and the Bank of England. So the Bank of England say, look, give us your money with all this meltdown shit, and we're gonna call it even still. But you got to. We don't need the money, but it's a gesture from sun